I felt the need to write a separate class to talk about periods, mainly because I know it's a topic that deeply affects women's life in so many different ways, and I wanted to make sure that they had its own space. But truth is that in practice, there are not particularly different ways to deal with menstruation in van life than in a normal life. Of course, if you are in a situation where you don't have a proper toilet, you may think it's a bit complicated to deal with that, but trust me, it's not really a big deal. What I use, for example, are wet wipes to clean myself, and I try to change my tampon more often than I will usually do to avoid things from getting too messy. And, well, honestly, that's basically it. Now, I cannot talk about the entire world, but in European countries it is very easy to buy tampons which are sold in supermarkets, drugstores and even in convenience stores. Also, I've crossed some countries in Europe like Switzerland and Ireland where public toilets usually have a box selling them or giving them away for free, which is really fucking cool. Another thing, thankfully for me, I've never really suffered from particularly painful periods, which means that I've never really had to rely on medicines to calm the pain or even to regulate my periods, which was usually on time. I know that unfortunately this is not always the case. So again, I can only talk about European Union countries, but definitely most common painkillers for period pain are available in drugstores without any prescription needed, and in some countries you can even buy them at the supermarket. Now, one extra thing I wanted to mention to close this chapter is related to contraceptive methods, like the common pill that not only prevents unwanted pregnancies, but is actually taken in many cases to regulate the period and, well, reduce the pain. I took the pill myself for a long time and only stopped because it was causing me to suffer from very strong headaches as a counter effect, which wasn't very cool, as you can imagine. Anyway, I know that it's still a very safe and common system adopted by many girls. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because if you make use of whatever contraceptive or period regulation system that needs you to get a prescription, you will have to check how to deal with that in countries that are not your own. Even inside the European Union, the rules are different from country to country. For example, in Italy, whatever medication that works as contraception needs a medical prescription, while in Ireland, you can simply go to a pharmacy to even buy a morning after pill. My point is, you'd better do some research about how these kind of things work in the country you're traveling if you plan to be on the road for a long period of time. Now, well, I think this is it for this module about van life for women, which makes it also the end of our online course in general. So thank you so much for watching till the end, and we really truly appreciate it, and please feel free to reach out to us at any moment for anything you might ever need. Good luck on your journey and see you on the road.